How's it, guys? This is Chris Mosier from MyMediaHelper.com, and this particular video is going to be it's really pretty much unplanned. It's totally unscripted, and you might think, well, isn't that all your videos, Chris? No, I usually plan them and script them, so maybe they just don't seem that way. But anyways, I watched yesterday A Christmas Story Christmas, and I wanted to do a review on that, what I've been working on really all through October and November. So far, November is a lot of Christmas videos, so I didn't want to take a lot of time to put this out, but I wanted to share my thoughts with you on this. So I have a lot of those coming. So this is kind of like your pre-Christmas video before those hit you, and even pre-Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next week, and we're talking about Christmas already. We haven't even carved the turkey. But oh well. Yeah, I wanted to talk about A Christmas Story Christmas, and my thoughts about it, because that was my childhood, the original Christmas Story, as well as probably a lot of your childhood at Christmas, or even people born after the fact. It's become a staple, and I believe like TBS does I'm pretty sure it's TBS does like a 24-hour marathon. They've done it for years now. So I wanted to talk about how much I enjoyed the movie, which I did enjoy it. I thought there was a lot of callbacks to the original Christmas Story, which there were, and then I'm going to talk about the origins of the Christmas Story. I'm going to rip some stuff off the official house page and read some stuff off of that. I'm going to go to the IMDb and kind of look at what the actors have done since the original movie to now, and we'll take a look at that. And I'll throw out some trailers and some posters and just really off-the-cuff thoughts towards the movie, and we'll take it from there. But let me rip something off from the official Christmas Story house page first. But before I do that, I just want to talk about how I originally saw A Christmas Story. Christmas Story came out in 1983, and I was 13 years old, and I went with my parents, and I'm not sure why I went with my parents or why my parents decided to go to a movie, a double feature. Actually, I think I do know. So we originally went to go see Lasseter. It was a double feature, A Christmas Story and Tom Selleck starring in Lasseter. So I don't even think A Christmas Story was an inkling on anyone's mind. I really don't recall. And my mother was a big-time Tom Selleck fan, and who knows, but my dad never went and took us to the movies. So why we went as a family, it's only a guess. I have no clue. I have no idea. But anyways, so A Christmas Story was great. We all laughed through it. All I can remember my parents laughing through it, and I really enjoyed it and loved it. And then Lasseter started, and I think we only stayed about 15 to 20 minutes. I don't know if you know the movie Lasseter. It's a forgettable movie. I don't think hardly anyone, unless you're a Tom Selleck fan, knows the movie existed, and it's not a good movie. It sucks. So I think we left about 15 to 20 minutes after that movie started. And that was my first foray into A Christmas Story. And what genius ever decided a great double feature would be A Christmas Story with Lasseter? Who the fuck knows? What, like two totally different movies? And as the original movie is concerned, the movie A Christmas Story is arguably one of America's favorite holiday films, and over the years, this modest little movie has grown into a Yuletide perennial. The movie A Christmas Story might never have been made had it not been for another decidedly less reputable comedic creature, Porky's. That's right, one of the most beloved holiday movies largely owes its existence to an infamous, unabashedly crude teen comedy. Hey, I love Porky's. In the late 1960s, A Christmas Story director Bob Clark was driving to a date's house when he happened upon a broadcast of radio personality and writer Gene Shepard's recollection of growing up in Indiana in the late 30s and early 40s. Clark wound up driving around the block for almost an hour, glued to the radio until the program was over. My date was not happy, Clark said, but he knew right away he wanted to make a movie out of the stories, many of which first appeared in Playboy magazine and were collected in Shepard's 1966 book, In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash. Clark's adaptation, however, didn't happen overnight. At the time, he was a journeyman director who specialized in low-budget B-movies. For years, Clark tried to find a studio to finance the film, but none were interested. Nevertheless, Clark held on to his ambition to bring Shepard's stories to the screen, and in 1981, he directed Porky's. I did not know this, which became a hit at the box office. Suddenly, he had some clout to bargain with. In the wake of that hit, the studio wanted a sequel to Porky's, and Clark agreed to make a sequel if the studio agreed to let him do A Christmas Story first.
The modestly budgeted little comedy opened in 1983, the week before Thanksgiving, on fewer than 900 screens, and the film took in about $2 million its first weekend, and double that Thanksgiving weekend. Solid business for the time. The movie was getting strong word-of-mouth support, but MGM hadn't counted on the movie receiving much success and did not schedule distribution to more than opening screens for the lead-up to Christmas. Thus, A Christmas Story disappeared from theaters, abruptly elbowed into the theatrical void by the bigger seasonal studio movies of the day, most notably Scarface and Christine. Notice I didn't say Lasseter. Ultimately, A Christmas Story collected about $19 million at the box office. It was a good showing, but not great. Now, at the same time, however, home video and cable television were beginning to grow in popularity, and A Christmas Story crept into the mainstream through videotape and cable broadcasts. The rights to the movie were sold in 1986 to Warner Brothers by MGM as part of the 50-movie package deal. In fact, MGM practically gave the movie away when it tossed A Christmas Story into the deal in order to simply meet the 50-movie quota agreed to. The cable network TNT, okay, it was TNT, not TBS, first aired its 12-showing 24-hour marathon as a stunt in 1988, but popular demand turned stunt into tradition. The annual marathon, now aired on TBS, oh, okay, I was right then. I was wrong and right at the same time, and attracts more than 40 million people who tune in at some point to watch. A Christmas Story is now one of the most popular holiday movies of all time, earning a place alongside It's a Wonderful Life and A Miracle on 34th Street.
Right, so my initial thoughts, I think right off the bat is they did too many throwbacks to the original movie. Way too many, and I thought that was going to be the case anyways. I mean, you kind of can't help it when you do sequels. I was trying to think of like all the sequels that I've ever seen that I really enjoyed, like Back to the Future 2, The Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you can't really escape it. So I tried to put myself into a position of, okay, what if I didn't see the first movie and I'm just seeing this movie without ever seeing the first movie, and that's like virtually impossible to do, right? You can't put the first classic out of your mind that much, but that's how I tried to view it when I watched it or attempted so. So initially, I mean, if it's someone that never saw the original, a lot of the throwbacks and nods and jokes are going to be lost on you. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I always like to see sequels sit on their own, but again, that's almost virtually impossible when it comes to sequels because it's always a homage to the original, right? But overall, I mean, I really like the movie. Did I like it as much as the first one? No, absolutely. I don't even know if that's remotely even possible. I mean, I think The Empire Strikes Back is one of the few sequels I can think of off the top of my head that I enjoyed a lot more than the first one. But the first one's a classic. So A Christmas Story is just a classic, and like I said, I grew up with it, and I've loved it since the first time I saw it in the theater with my parents, and it's got watchability factor through the years every Christmas. This other one, I believe, has watchability factor as well, and it's going to be good each Christmas to see them back to back. I think the second one is really good. I think it's better than what I initially anticipated. I figured there was going to be a lot of callbacks. I personally think there's too many callbacks to it. It kind of relied too much on those callbacks, but it had a lot of good stuff going on its own. And not to give away any spoilers if you haven't seen it, but the best scene that I really laughed at is when all the drunks go from the bar to, and you'll see it if you don't know what I'm talking about. All the drunks go from the bar to a mountain snowfield, and they all get on their sleds or whatever, what have you, and sled down the hill, all trashed and hit into stuff, bop into shit, and it was a funny scene for me. It was really funny. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it very much. I highly recommend it this holiday season. I recommend watching the first one if you've never seen it, and then this one directly after. So it's going to be a good compilation. It's going to be a good duo of films. Moving forward each Christmas. So I wanted to give a shout out to this website. It's a cool website. It's got tons of information on A Christmas Story. They're selling the house if you've got some extra cash and you want to buy it. I'm sure someone will gobble that up really quick. I don't know. But anyways, the synopsis of the history of A Christmas Story is what I grabbed from here and read off it. So really, it's got trivia stuff on there. Some stuff like Porky. I didn't know about the Porky's thing. I didn't know the same director who directed Porky's directed this. Here's the sequels. There is a Christmas Story 2. I saw it a long time ago. It's not good at all. It's terrible. And I knew these existed. I've never seen them. So there's information on sequels. But A Christmas Story, Christmas is, as far as I'm concerned, the sequel to A Christmas Story. Absolutely, 100%. If you're not sure where to watch the new movies on HBO and Max, I'm sure TBS will have their 24-hour of A Christmas Story, the original movie. And then you can check this out here. I'm sure there's like a free subscription for 30 days. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But hopefully the movies will team up at some point on TBS in the future. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll release it in the theater. That would be cool to see this in the theater. See both of them have like a double feature in the theater. But anyways, that's where you can check this movie out. Now, what I like to do, and I really haven't done it in a long time, usually at one of my jobs when I got bored, I would go through here and IMDb and go, like, say for MASH, for instance, the sitcom MASH, I would go through and see what the actors are up to and what they've done since MASH and stuff like that. So you can kind of do that with this as well. Just I've never looked through to see if the actors ever worked after A Christmas Story. I just never thought to do it. It's not that I wasn't interested. I also, when I was doing this, I was thinking about a show I used to watch as a kid. And Peter Billingsley was on Real People. I remember him being on Real People, and it was after A Christmas Story. So I just remember that. I thought that was cool. If you're my age and you ever saw the show, so it looks like he directed a lot of stuff or produced a lot of stuff. It looks like, and he's acted on a lot of stuff. He was in an episode of Who's the Boss? I know. I mean, a lot of stuff. If we go back, we can just. I'm not going to go through this a lot. You can do this on your own. But here's Flick, and whoever thought Flick had an acting career, you know? So we go down to his credits, and he's acting in tons of stuff. I mean, a lot of this stuff I've never heard of. I mean, but that's tons of 21 Jump Street. I don't know that. Here's A Christmas Story after school special he was in. I'll do one more, and you just do a Google search of IMDb, and then you can come up with a website, or just put in imdb.com. All right, so here's this is Flick, right? I forget what his character. Oh, Schwartz. Schwartz, may the Schwartz be with you. All right, and here's some stuff he's been in. That's he produced there. Let's put in actor credits. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. Snapped was a movie, wasn't it? I thought. Snapped Examines the Lives of Colorful. I guess I don't remember what that was. But anyways, you can go and do it on your own, and it's fun stuff just to go through and see what they've been up to since then. And yeah, I might do that a little further later. I'm just running out of time. I don't want to make this video 900 hours long. And that will be it for this review, gals and guys. Kind of an impromptu kind of thing. I just thought I'd throw together, and yeah, I love the movie. I love the sequel, so check them both out. And I appreciate you as always. I got a lot of Christmas videos coming at you. I did a two-parter on Hess trucks. I did a two-parter on Hallmark ornaments over the years, and I spent a lot of time putting this stuff together. So yeah, I hope you check it out and appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would appreciate that as well. And then you'll get all those new videos that are coming out. So hit the bell as well for updates. And then like this video. You know the deal, right? I say it like every time at the end of the video, and then it's in the beginning of the video, and then just share this whenever you think with that Christmas Story fans. Share this with the Christmas Story fans. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to go back and make some more videos. I hope you have a very happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate that sort of thing, and I'll tell you Merry Christmas a million times before then. So we'll take care of that later. So I'll catch you later. Peace. Bye. Bye. See ya. Bye. Bye. See ya.